pull up
I've
my
got a
Substack.
I've got a new setup, and I'm hoping my monitor here will
Yeah, I'm trying to work on brightness on my screen.
Yeah. What
It's getting
Um,
it's getting
you
so dark here. It's only 2:30 in
yeah,
Chicago, but
feel like you live in the Middle Ages,
I know.
cloudy for 23 years. Well, we have some folks here joining. That's awesome.
Nice.
Sarah Beth, Candace, Carlene won't give up joined. Love that name. And Maureen, Ira, Jean, CJ, John, Christine, Davis. I'm sorry, Mary, I'm going to miss some people here. Saturn, Fem. No, I like that name. That was PH. That's cool. Hey, and if you want to, just shoot us a note as to what state you're in, and like not mental state, but physical state. Ohio, Milwaukee, whatever.
I mean, you'd
Wisconsin.
probably get some really good answers if you asked
That's true.
what your mental state is right now.
What is your mental state? Let's just go with that. Anyway, hello, Paul, Hillary, Bill, Nancy, Christine. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Appreciate it. Friends, it's so good to have you here on a Saturday afternoon. And Jackie, welcome. Susan, Dee Dee, Melissa, Lorraine, Darlene, Curly Girly. Like that name. And
That's cute.
June Ellie said, yeah, it's cute. Anna Luz Rios, Ria, I think, I don't know. Christine, Christiane, New Brunswick, cool. Penelope, Elizabeth, Martha, Morgan, Miss Myra, welcome. Appreciate you guys coming. Jean, LB, Massachusetts, exhausted. I like that. That's pretty much been my state of mind all day today. So, and there you are. I'm from Vancouver. Thank you, Anna Luz Rios Aria. Judy and Stuart, welcome. So today, the big deal here we've got in the center screen.
So excited.
We're so excited. Lisa and I were able to peel away Nick from his many areas of involvement and get him here on the show today before Thanksgiving, thankfully. And yes, that was a pun intended. And I hope that you all have had a chance to meet Nick before. He's been on this show with us priorly, and we're going to go at it again. We've got plenty of stuff. There's just no shortage of stuff in any area that you look to go after. And so with that said, I will ask Lisa, how are you first? Let's
Great. Weekend has started off like in a very nice, calm, and productive manner. So my mental state, I'm actually like really good. Susan in the comments, she was like, my mental state is good today. I'm like, that's good to hear. Nice, positive. And really excited to have Nick on. We had Shane on yesterday. So new Substack friends that not really. I mean, we're getting into past new now. Yeah, now we're getting to know each other better. And I love it. I love connecting with you guys. So I'm excited for today's show.
Yep.
And it's good to be here.
Yeah, well, and I was going to just say, and you, how are you, Nick?
I'm busy. I'm busy as always, but I'm doing well. There's a lot of really good stuff going on, a lot of really good shows. I'm going to try and take a little bit of a rest this week with Thanksgiving. I'll be on for pretty much all my normal shows, but I won't be doing as much during the afterwards. Hanging out with my family, and it's the holidays, and as much as shit is falling apart in a lot of ways, it's still important to remember good things and have joy and have positivity and fun, and that's a lot of what I do is try and spread that and build community. So I want to go have some myself.
That is so important,
and
I agree with you.
In person.
Yes. And even with your friends and family this year, we're actually doing a Friendsgiving. We've never done that before. Like we always hang out like really good friends of mine. Oh my God. I'm so excited.
Educate the uneducated like me. I'm
So
right.
apparently, I don't know if it's like a lot of younger people. I'm Gen X, but I know a lot of millennials. I know a lot of
I'm a millennial.
Gen Z. Yeah, I know a lot of millennials. So I don't know exactly when this started, but I remember my younger cousins who are millennials, they were doing the Friendsgiving with their friends. And I'm like, oh my God, that's such a cute idea.
It's roughly college when we were in college. So probably
She was actually. That's
08 to 12 was when
This
I
makes
went to
sense.
college the first time, which apparently my degree is no longer, I don't know if it was ever considered a
professional?
professional degree, but at least one of my professional degrees is no longer on that list of professional degrees.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder if dental hygienist is as well, because I didn't
No,
see it.
pretty
but
much
it said,
anything that is not the doctor
correct, or
of a
veterinarian,
male-dominated field.
dentistry.
Yes.
There's dentistry, MD, DO, veterinarian. Yep, that's right. Chiropractor. They even had on there. That's still professional.
Yeah, they took nurse practitioner off to
Yes.
leave chiropractor. There is no listing of arts degrees or humanities degrees in any ways.
Right.
I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Music Theory and Composition
Yeah.
from Carnegie Mellon University. It's one of the best universities in our country.
I was just
That's
gonna
no
say,
longer a professional degree. I'm still paying on my fucking student
Oh
loans.
my God.
So is Carnegie Mellon going to pay me back all the money that I paid them to get a professional degree from? How about Southern New Hampshire University, where I went and got a bachelor in science, in computer science, with a focus in software engineering, and I spent 6 years in that career field. What about those?
Yeah.
I got an undergraduate degree with honors, summa cum laude, like top of my class. Like I had a 4.0 basically at that school. Like,
wow.
So what? Is that not worth anything? All that money that the U.S. government paid through my GI Bill. So are they going to pay that back to the government and to me for my time and efforts? It's like, that seems silly. But it's also really a sexist thing, because it's all about hate and pushing women backwards and out of professional fields, and minorities out of professional fields, and anyone that's basically not a overly privileged, underly qualified, if you might know what I mean, male, and has a micro ego syndrome and feels like they're the top of the world, or has a massive ego syndrome and feels like everyone should listen to them, but
just by default.
Yes. But pretty much, if you're not, they didn't list engineers in any way on that list of professional degrees. The most professional people I know, professional degrees I know, to get that degree and learn how to do stuff, is engineering.
Yeah, my dad's an engineer.
Civil engineering, computer engineering. We won World War II because of computer engineering. Thanks. Just so you know, computer engineering won World War II.
Yes.
And the thing that really bothers me, well, I mean, the whole thing is about the loan, possibilities for loans.
Yes, it's all about loans and debts.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I also wanted to mention, it looks like, because I keep looking back and forth into the comments, Senator America joined. I really love their love. Yes. And I'm not sure, this might be shared, but I thought there's two people, right? That run Senator America?
Yeah, so Senator America is run, co-directed by Sherrod Swaney and Gavin Favor. I talked to both of them on Wednesday. Sherrod tends to be the more
he's awesome.
Outward facing. He does a lot of the personality work too. And he's the talent, I guess, is what they would say on that front. Sherrod's they're both really great on camera. They're both really good at policy discussion.
Okay, I've never seen Gavin yet.
Yeah. Oh, Gavin's on our shows Wednesday on Banner and Backbone.
Because I've been watching you guys. I saw the last one that you did with Shane. I think there were 4 people on.
Yeah, and Shane, Sherrod, Evan Fields.
Evan. That's the one.
Myself.
That's a new person I'm following.
Evan's really awesome. So for those who might not know me, I'm Nick Paro. I am the creator of Sick of This Shit with Nick and our Sick of This Shit publications now. And the co-creator at Banner and Backbone Media. A lot of you probably do know me through all of that. I pretty much do a show once or twice a day, pretty much every day, except for the weekends normally. So Lisa and Rick got lucky to have me on here for a weekend. I try and stay away, but I wanted to drop in because I do really like what Rick and Lisa are doing here. I appreciate the invites too, and it's so fun to get to talk to you guys.
Oh,
and
it
I
was a
wish
great
we could talk
discussion.
about things that weren't political more.
I know.
Like, because the three of us have a lot in common in terms of the music and
Yep.
our backgrounds in the arts. And thanks, Susan. I'm glad you followed me since and have kept along the way. I know we've had some discussions throughout some of the various shows that I do. So one of the shows we were talking about with I've actually had two really recent discussions with Centered America with Sherrod Swaney specifically. Is on Wednesday on Banner and Backbone. We host a show called The Window of Discussion, which is a partnered show between Banner and Backbone and Centered America, where we do policy discussion, morality and ethics discussions, things like that. And so this week it was Sherrod Swaney, Shane Urick, Evan Fields, and myself. Evan is a contributor to Lincoln Square. He also runs the publication News from Underground, which is really good stuff, very veteran focused work, really, really good young, like gentlemen like my age. We're just, he's out here doing the work. He's a veteran too. I've had him on for a vet talk. And so we had a discussion this week on like major ideas of how we can win, like how we can win immediately and how we can win and continue winning for 20 to 50 years. And so my second discussion was with Sherrod on Thursday, which you might have seen also on Sickest show, where we did 20 months or 20 years and talked about policy goals and what some of the direction we need to be pushing for and how we can use our voices and our influence to get there. And one of those was kind of on one of the posts I made this morning, a little bit humorously, that I started my day with. I know, Rick, you noted that post, and I'm glad you did, because I started my day humorously with it for a reason. Is we need to fracture the Republican Party.
Yeah, you've got to share that with us.
Yes, please.
So we at least the first part there, if you don't mind, or I
can
do it anyway.
Oh, no, I'll share the note, too, that I said this morning also. And then I'll get into the idea on it, why it's important. So the note that I shared this morning, because everybody got the really good news last night that Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning. However, we need to get her out slightly earlier because she's about to do it, so she's fully vested in her retirement account. And traitors and treasonous insurrectionists shouldn't get U.S. federal dollars for the rest of their life in a permanent pension or retirement fund or healthcare or all of that, especially after trying to take it away from everybody. She doesn't deserve any of that. So my note was, I encourage every federally elected Republican legislator to follow MTG's lead. Resign as soon as you can. Just go. Walk out the door. Don't turn around. We just won't see you anymore. We'll change the lock. We'll make you leave the stupid key. And that was it. And I had some fun, because we need to have a little bit of fun while we're doing this, because these people suck, and the best way to approach bullies is make fun of them and poke fun of them, because they're really insecure, and nobody has ever just stood up and said, yeah, no, fuck you. I have more authority on this than you. You shut the fuck up and listen.
Right.
And when you tell somebody that, or you put your foot down and you say, no, this is not a thing you will break with me, and then leave. I'll give you an example. I won't say exactly who in the family or how it happened. We had someone in the family try and discipline our son.
Oh.
My wife and I were not close with that family member at the time. We put a rule down, and we said that will never happen the way that this was taken, and that if you want to continue it this way, we will leave. So we left. Like 2 weeks later, we got an apology, and that rule has never once been broken before. They even said thank you, because we were the first ones to really say no in that way and put our foot down in a respectful, authoritative way that said, no, we are the ruler in this part of the castle. You do not break our rules. And guess what? You get a lot of respect from these folks when you do that. Like, I talked to Walter and I talk a lot about this on how to talk about Republicans and talk to Republicans, yada yada. Is you have to put authority behind it, and it's uncomfortable for a lot of us on the left to do that. And when I say things that are authoritative and people get mad about it on Substack, I ain't talking to you. I'm talking at Republicans who need to hear it in a way that might be uncomfortable for some of us to hear, but in a way that's not misogynistic. It's about tearing down ideas, not personhood.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And just really quick before Rick, I'm sorry. I'm just really quick. It made me think of Gavin Newsom and Pritzker and Brandon Johnson, their attitudes on the left, which is normally what you do not see. And I am hoping to see even more, but there's more people, even Mark Kelly. I mean, they're emerging.
I'm very proud of what those 6 Democratic legislators did.
Totally.
Put out and said that service members of all stripes need to remember their oath, and not just remember, but uphold and live their oaths to the Constitution, which is not to a man. And if you're in the military, it specifically says you must follow only lawful orders. And if you follow illegal orders, you will be prosecuted under the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
That's it.
So service members, do not follow illegal orders. You have options. There are things like the ordersproject.com, which you can go to, which is a group of legal representatives and help. And I'll pull up the website here. Is Stephanie Wilson's going to be interviewing one of the folks that works there. The Orders Project is a nonpartisan program created by the National Institute of Military Justice to assist military personnel in understanding their options when faced with orders they believe may not be legal.
God. Yeah, thank goodness, because
this
we were talking about
options to service members to understand what they need to do. Have options typically means, how do I discuss this with my subordinates if they're an officer, or my superiors? How do I say no legally so that my career does not also get ruined? Yes, Stephanie will be interviewing the legal director on January 3rd. Thank you, Steph.
Oh my God, thank you for that information.
Everybody
I'm so sorry,
watch
Rick, I
it.
completely
sorry to derail just for a second, but I think this is a super important point, is we need to ensure that service members know their rights, because this administration is getting really desperate and really weak and going to do something really stupid. And now is exactly the time when we have to be talking about this all the time. Like, this should be in the zeitgeist, is that service members know and live your oaths. Don't remember your oaths. Uphold your oaths. I wish people would stop saying remember your oath. Remember your oath. Uphold your fucking oath. You can remember something without doing it and taking care of it, but if you uphold it, you are living it. So I would like, if we could, just a thought. I like doing, words mean a lot, and words are super important to me. I was an interrogator in the Army. I'm a musician. I write poetry. Words are really important. They have really specific meaning. They have power when you use the right ones. And remembering an oath is very different than upholding the oath. Upholding your oath means you are actively protecting, defending, and supporting it. Remembering it means you know what it means. Do you listen? Maybe that's up to you. But upholding it is very different. So I would encourage folks to maybe start calling and reminding friends and family that they have that are service members. Pretty much everybody in this country knows a service member. It's like 2 degrees of separation from a service member in this country. If that. Call them and say, hey, uphold that oath you swore. I know you have the courage to do it. I love you. Thank you for your service.
Right.
It's not guilting them. It's just reminding them that you know they swore an oath that they need to uphold actively, and not just remember that they swore it that one time.
Right.
Yeah. And, Christina had a comment on, and I wasn't going to go this side of that particular topic, but it is worth noting that, the defiance and the tantrum that was displayed after that video was released, and the words that were used, which were horrific, right? We don't need to go into that particular thing, but my point, I think, there is most strongly that every time Donald J. Trump opens his mouth with some crazy ass shit like that, some batshit nonsense, that is threatening the lives of real people, with crazy enough people following him right close lockstep behind, that when he's doing it, he's doing something that is like standing, whatever that phrase, whatever he used,
stand back,
it is
stand by
Fifth
to
Avenue.
the Crown Boys.
Yes.
You know, and so yeah, those guys deserve, and I know Capitol Police were informed. I don't know what, I haven't heard exactly what's going on, but my point isn't even that. What it really is that it is exposing the most butt end of your ass to the public, that is just undermines, you know, even the people who are somewhat in the Trump camp have got to be at this point going, wait a minute, well, hold on a second, let me get that straight. There is no way you can reinterpret, no matter what Fox says. No matter what
I think you need to stop right there, though. I think you have the wrong understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
Trump isn't leading all of this. It is not Trump doing it. I think it's important to remember that the people in Trump's orbit are the ones who are promoting and encouraging and placing these policies out. It's not Trump who's doing it. So the people around him are the problem. We cannot excuse them, and we cannot give them the option to say, oh, but maybe we should have said it a different way. You're giving them too much credit there, Rick, so I'm going to push back on you. They know exactly what they're doing.
Fair enough.
They are fucking doing this on purpose. They need to be held accountable in every single way possible. JD Vance specifically needs to be held accountable for
them, like Stephen Miller.
And Stephen Miller for what they're doing. Russ Vought, Caroline Leavitt, Pete Hegseth, every single one of them, Mike Johnson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you helped get this happen. So all of you.
But there are some people that I'm wondering about, and it could just be me looking at body language, and I have nothing to go by this but that Bessent looked like he is about to cold cock everybody in there. I don't know what it is.
He's already hit. He had a physical altercation with Elon Musk once.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The fact that he hasn't fought anybody.
Maybe. Yeah, I think
it's not dissenters. For the most part, they're not dissenters. They hate each other almost as much as they hate us. The thing is, our coalition and our individual movements that we're trying to start here aren't based in hate. I don't hate you guys in any way. And in fact, I don't see any of the other podcasters on here that I do work with and co-hosts that I do work with as competition in any way. Right. I'm not competing with us.
Yeah.
I am promoting everybody I actively can and trying to help. And one of the reasons I love being invited on shows is because if my audience is larger than yours right now, that's a great way to give back. Is a ton of folks in this crowd right now I know are cross subscribers, but I'm hoping some of my subscribers who are coming in and all those who don't know us hit that subscribe in the top corner if you're on Substack. I've got my banner and backbone going cross streaming this on YouTube and Twitch right now.
Yep, me
because
too.
I think it's important that we get this as visible and as outward as possible. And maybe that could segue into that sort of second point you wanted to bring up today, Rick, was around the big message that I got that I'm a co-author on with Chris Goldsmith from On Offense.
I love him
about
too.
The remove the regime versus refuse fascism.
Right.
And understanding the importance
maybe
of
set the audience stage for that. I don't know, Nick, if you agree, but maybe give a little bit of context.
Oh, there. Absolutely. Yes. Context is key here. So this morning, I helped co-author or put out. Oh, stop barking. I put out a co-author piece with Chris Goldsmith's On Offense. That was specifically discussing the sustained efforts and support that is going on in DC. And for, hold on one second.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no, but that's one of the things too, because even it's true. Bessent, my example there, not dissenters, because obviously when in order for them to join this team, they already have nefarious plans, and that is the way that, absolutely, totally agree. But anyway, sorry, not to derail what you were
No,
talking about
you're totally
with Chris
fine.
Goldsmith.
Yeah. So with Chris Goldsmith, and so Melissa Corrigan and I have been trying to help support any efforts for sustained engagement and sustained action in DC so that we can get, like Zev Shalev or Lev Parnas keeps saying, is get 100,000 people, get 10,000 people, just sit in DC. And a bunch of them are going to film and ask questions and post it live. And that's how you undermine a regime that wants silence and darkness and zero transparency, is to have a ton of people out there all the time interviewing everybody at every moment, somebody following Marjorie Taylor Greene around until she leaves, asking her questions. Do you refute everything you have done? What are you actively doing until your resignation to ensure that the administration does not succeed now that they have turned their back on you and hurt you? If somebody was out there doing that every single day, all of the time, we would win. And there are groups that are working on this. There's two specifically, and they are different from each other. One is Refuse Fascism. I'm going to talk about them first. Chris Goldsmith put an article out this morning, and he spoke to us about this group, to Melissa Corrigan and I, because we had promoted it once on Banner and Backbone. We did not know at the time who founded and where the original money came from for Refuse Fascism and what that group really represents and where they are. So we investigated, like Timothy Snyder says in On Tyranny, is investigate and do good journalism on your own. So we got information from Chris Goldsmith saying that Refuse Fascism is not your ally. They are a front for the Revolutionary Communist Party, or the RCP, which is a cult and is a pyramid scheme which co-opts movements, takes funding, and leverages your personality and your content for their promotion. And that's all they care about, is getting in, co-opting movements, taking them over, and delegitimizing them. They also promote Refuse Fascism.
Okay.
They are not your ally.
Got
Refuse Fascism is not our ally. They are they're a subgroup front for the Revolutionary Communist Party, which is a great way to get on a terrorist watch list for real, not on accident.
Right.
These people promote.
It's anarcho-communism, right?
They promote some very extreme and aggressive protesting techniques, which are not safe for individual safety, for police safety, for protest safety in general. They do want to create dissent and difficulties and legal difficulties. They want to get the shock factor to get attention, and then they want to make money off of you, the person who got arrested, so that they can make money.
Right.
However, there is a group that is good, and that is our friend, and that is called Remove the Regime. They are a group that is not funded by the Refuse Fascism. Remove the Regime has a lot of support from organizations like Indivisible, I believe. That's where they're getting a majority of their support, the 50-51 movement. You still have to be careful with some of those groups. You have to look into who founded which part of your coalition's groups, because sometimes groups like Refuse Fascism will co-opt a 50-51 movement, let's say, and become the main actors there. And that derails the protests. It derails the peace. It instigates and incites violence. It's intended to create civil disorder. Whereas Remove the Regime is about sustained engagement and support. They are our friends. They are built on veterans, on civil servants, on the backs of professionals who are working to help us. And they try and use very similar sounding names, similar sounding acronyms. They use our language, they use our clothes, but they make themselves very obvious because they do disruptive and destructive things.
Right.
So we don't want to work. So say no to the group Refuse Fascism. Say yes to the group Remove
the Regime. Yeah.
Stephanie Wilson put the link for Remove the Regime in
great. Thank
the
you.
chat. And it's worth going to. And it's worth, I'll put it in the private chat for you guys too here on the show. And I'll also put in the orders project so you have that too for later. So if you want to put those into the show notes or anything, I would encourage people to look at those and forward any legal information you can to your service members that you may or that you have in and around your family and that you care about. Yeah. The to know really who the Refuse Fascism folks are, they wear orange at protests. That is their common theme, is wearing orange. They identify themselves through that. It makes them easier to find for themselves. This weekend's rally at DC, Melissa Corrigan is there and was covering it and has said that the protest tent, like where the support tent is and where the community organizers are for Remove the Regime, have specifically left out and pushed away Refuse Fascism because they know that they are not the ally. They are their instigators. So thanks for noticing that one, because I think it is really important is to know who our allies are and who are actually allies and not.
I think your obviously points well taken and appreciated. The thing that I am disheartened by a little bit, to be blunt, is the fact that we've got enough to fight because the Republicans are already the ninjas of, mixed naming and color coding and all of this other crap that makes it very difficult to tell sometimes who the enemy is on the battlefield, right? They don't dress in red and we dress in blue. That's not how it goes, as we know, right? Yeah. But the other idea that's of such importance is you're bringing light to uplifting of civic-minded awareness, right? And one of the things that I thought about and I'll let you talk in a second. I just want to get this one point out. But I thought so highly of you in that moment of you're thinking of this bigger, broader picture where, number one, all of us as authors, due to the way Substack does what it does, let's not get into all that right now, but due to all of that, we all are here trying to build our own brand, right? And with our publication, with whatever we do, our podcast, etc. Okay, that's a fact, but that does not dictate that we're in competition. What does dictate whether we're in competition goes down to the ideology and the words and the actions, right? What do you say? What more importantly do you do? And I love how you have just, you reached into the pool of all these things and you pulled out this one. And, this Refuse Fascism thing is a huge deal because I know on our audience, I get comments all the time about people are like, wow, this is such a mess. How do we make sense of this? Right. Yeah. And I want to make a chart, like a map, like a map of Mordor or something like that. This is where you live and give it to everybody. But that's to say these are the good things, these are the bad things, here's what to look out for.
Yeah. And it's also about the fact that Refuse Fascism labels themselves as a nonprofit organization. And from what Chris Goldsmith has investigated to find is there is no label on their webpage or information that proves they are a nonprofit. And so I'm going to say this as someone who owns two nonprofit or two LLCs right now, who is in the idea of trying to convert them to nonprofits here soon if I can. Like that's eventually, I'd love that idea, is to convert them to nonprofits, because that creates trust, because then the donor list is public. Like you have to know where donations are going or where your subscriptions are going and who's getting what. And I think that builds a lot of trust. It's also really expensive, so it's hard to do right up front. So I started with an LLC for both of mine. However, I want to go to nonprofits where it's very upfront and disclosure friendly and people can see, because transparency is important. Refuse Fascism doesn't do that. They don't have any of their donor list published, and we are not, and I want to make sure that I'm saying this clearly too, is because they've come at us a little bit. We got their attention in this, which is good, which is what we wanted. They've responded to all of us. at this point who have tagged. Chris Goldsmith put it out. I co-author and had Melissa Corrigan and myself co-author it with him. I then cross-posted it on Banner and Backbone, cross-posted it on Sick of This Shit publications. And there's a very distinct thing we want to make sure we're saying is this is not about calling out communism itself. I don't care about communism because it's never going to work here. It's not our system. We're never going to go towards it. Like, get the fuck out of here with your communism. Like, that it's a stupid system that's not going to work here.
Never in a
I care about democracy. I care about our system, and I care when people mislabel and misrepresent themselves to be our allies and then undercut us. Because like people say in the chat, and like you said, is we have enough enemies and we have enough people who are trying to dismantle and take away our rights and our freedoms. Is like, it's super important to know right up front, real quick, who to support so that we can coalesce around good groups and support and contribute to, as another lesson from Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny, is contribute to causes you care about and good causes. If somebody brands themselves as a nonprofit, they better have the proof of it. I don't brand my publications yet as nonprofits because we're not. I'm trying to set them up and make enough money so that I can actually live on it and convert it over to a nonprofit so that I can be very transparent in where we put our money. But when that happens, it's going to be very transparent and very open, and people are going to know. But you don't hide the fact that you have these donations or ties to the Revolutionary Communist Party. And if you're willing to reveal those donations, because if you are a nonprofit, you should be willing to publicly disclose those, then sure, maybe I will reconsider my stance. If you can prove through your legal and financial documentation that you are not tied to the Revolutionary Communist Party in any way, then maybe we'd believe you.
And I think too,
follow the money.
It's always that exercise that we did. I talked a little bit with Ellie Leonard. Sorry for those of you that don't know, but I've interviewed her. I got her coming up on Monday at I think 3:30. No, maybe 7:30. Sorry, 7:30. Anyway, we talked last time we chatted. We talked about the idea of exactly like you said, Nick. You follow the money. I talked about my experience in forensic banking and forensic investigation. That for a couple of years I took the challenge on to learn it, and you really can triangulate down to the nit of where somebody is, what their movements are, just based on their financial footprint, unless they are going really, really far out of their way to conceal things. There's an awful lot of inferential or heuristic information that you can imply and infer and come away. And the other thing, which I really wanted to, I'm just excited to have you here for about this, is our audience is being raised up as a result of these communications, right? It does not matter that this branding thing and this we all have to eat, and there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with what any of us are doing, as long as we're sticking to the core script of, look, what Republicans are doing is just wrong. Okay, one, and two, that there's a better way, and we can talk. Here's the most important point I want to get to, is that this is, for me, a great experience in helping people expand their critical thinking and their critical ability to discuss it in real time. I know I've watched over time. Lisa has, how long have you been in Substack, Lisa? I think summer. And your ability just to snap right onto certain things and be able to speak right back to certain facts. I mean, you're already a fireball. That's great, but you're also getting, with your practice, a lot of not practice, but within your interactions, you're just getting so much sharper as time goes by, and I love that. I think that's
thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I think so. For Lisa, Lisa is on. I say thanks because I also forgot you were talking to Lisa there for a second. I was like,
no, I was talking
so
to you
good.
Too.
I love hearing all this. No, I want to say, just for the both of you, I love that you guys. It's true back right at both of you too. Is like, people trust you because you're authentic, you're
Yeah.
human, you are willing to make mistakes and correct yourself. Like
Yep.
that's the difference that we're trying to make is it's okay to make mistakes as long as you're willing to correct yourself and as long as you're willing to learn from them
Yeah.
and become part of the conversation productively. If you don't want to be productive, then you can sit out the conversation and just
And
listen.
this is the whole, just really quickly, because what I wanted to say was I feel I started this journey because I always say all the time, I was one who never really paid attention as much as I do now,
Oh yeah.
civically and everything. And of course, I was aware of many things peripherally, though, mostly. And it wasn't until 2020 that I really started to dig in, like, what a freaking mess, and how are we going to get out of this? And a
You
lot of it
picked a
was
good
because of
time.
Trump, right? And Trump really did do that for a lot of people. I'm not the only one. Thank God, finally. But I always had, since the 90s, though, was the corporate oligarchy and corruption
Mhm.
and how the corporatocracy captured Congress, all of these things, right? So that I've really been into for decades. But it
Yeah.
wasn't until now that I'm like really, really paying attention to real time what's going on and how everything is connected. And my whole point for coming on Substack was to find people like you guys that actually know so much. And, like Rick, he has a wealth of information and he gets all sheepish about it whenever I tell him, but it's true. I love talking to him because I'll be like, oh, I have this question about how to connect like to our founding fathers or how to connect to, the Reagan or the Nixon administration. And this is my theory. And then he gives me like all the meat to that.
Mhm.
And what I love, and my whole point of this is to share it with an audience, especially since, because we were talking to Shane yesterday, and he is
Mhm.
absolutely right. The people, because everybody always talks about the low information voters, and he was like, it's not their
Yeah.
fault. And it's like, well, right, it's not, because of the conditioning that has happened throughout the decades to make people into perfect consumers and to not pay attention as citizens, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
now we're at this point. So that's my whole point for this whole thing, is to have an audience and build communities, plural, like our community together with others, like you were talking about, not competing, in order to get this message out. Because the first step to me, before we could do anything, is awareness and education.
Right.
Yeah.
And go ahead,
And
Nick.
long form discussion is
Yes.
we keep being told in the US, I know it's a lie, is that the American citizenry has a 30-second thought process span or 10-second thought span.
Yeah, it
If you
is.
look
I
at the
agree.
most popular show hosts on the right, on the amoral side of our world, like if you look
Mhm.
at people like Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
like the Manosphere and that side of the thing, their shows are like 2-3 hours long.
Yeah.
That is
Their
true.
shows are just long. It's just them having a discussion and a talk. It's not specifically to one thing. It's like gaming. It's like when people go into video games and just sit there and talk to you for half the time. And most of the time, a lot of those people on like Twitch and stuff, when they talk, they say stupid shit and they're just dumb. But it's like that. It's like sitting in a chat room and listening in on their conversation for a while.
Mhm.
Right.
And sometimes getting with the audience. Like our big thing is like Substack is awesome and has helped me a lot because it's very engagement focused.
I love that.
But like I've found that my dog is growling at the door because I'm not letting him into the office. Okay, come on.
Oh, the
Okay.
fur babies. I have my kitty with me
Anyway.
right now, but they're quiet. He's quiet.
Anyway, yeah. Where was I? I get sidetracked. Remind me what I
Sorry, I'm
was saying
looking at.
again. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah, we were talking about having the engagement in Substack.
Oh, yeah.
And that's actually what I'm looking at right now is the comments. And I try, because Rick always snapshots them for us so we could read
Mhm.
them, sitting down all at once afterwards. But you were talking about how that's helped you to have this type of engagement with Substack.
Yes.
With the
It's
people.
really helped because like the Manosphere and that stuff, that's what it's, as much as I hate a lot of the like underlying stuff that they're promoting, they
Yeah.
are very successful at creating an atmosphere that feels authentic.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The
that's true.
difference is I'm like what I'm trying to do is help bring contributors together and connect folks and make places that are authentic and where we can be authentic and break that lie of American consumers only have a 30-second time span.
Right.
Because it's shown every single time I come on lives that we don't. Like, there's audiences that sit here for the entire live every time that I come on.
And
That
it got
shows
cultivated.
me,
Like
yeah,
what was
and
happening for just really quick before Rick, the thing is that it's like we had this conditioned response to be in the rat race, which is what ends up cultivating that 30-second, attention span until you transition into something like you were saying, like the manosphere. But we need to create something that is actually, has
it's
some
a big
substance.
vacuum right now.
Yes.
On our side is most people have been told, like, hey, just you don't have to do a podcast. Don't start a new podcast. Don't do that. But on the right, they just do it all the time and people throw money at them. We need folks like us who are stepping up and then have folks start throwing money at us. Not the folks who are like you folks on Substack. This is where we drive our money from, and you are amazing. You are supporting us and contributing to our causes and helping us get there. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the bigger, like, groups.
Yes,
like
there's
and
like,
37 million people in the country, right? And out of that, look at just on the statistics side, I've stared at this for a long time on many levels, from business to nonprofit to But the whole point is, I was listening to you the other day, Nick, and I wish I could have like hit the please let me talk button, but only because what I wanted to really emphasize is that you just said something as it went by really quick, which was, and on the right, they're starting podcasts and people are throwing money at them. Well, let me tell you something. That it is almost like a Zen state of mind you have to get into to elevate yourself, to understand that we will occupy this space. We will have that money throwing at us, because when people realize what a fraud this thing has been and what a pile of bullshit they bought into, and there's a lot of people that are, I mean, you take two ends of the spectrum, left and right, a whole bunch of people, right? I'm sorry,
that's true.
In the middle, and those are the people that are throwing. They throw their money around in different directions. So I was like, wow, yes, Nick, you hit that one on. And there's so much that we can do, and there's so many great conversations we need to have. And then the other thing that I will say that I bring from my business background into this environment is how to disagree well. Because when people are conflict avoidant and they're like, oh my God, he's going to say something, he's not going to agree with me. Like when you started and you said, I want to push back on this, Rick, and I have absolutely no ego attached to that. You could do that to me for an hour. And the reason, though, is not because I'm just naturally good at it. It has nothing to do with that. It's because I've had the training on how to think of things as, this is a subject that's out here between us that we're talking about, and having that disagreement over is really the most important thing. Because if we walk away out of sync on what the issues are, we don't have anywhere to go. And what I'm afraid of, Nick, and I'll tell you this, as I was listening to your podcast this week, I fear, because I see these waves that come into Substack, and I think we're having one right now. I think we had one earlier in the spring of new arrivals, right? And they're doing two things that really piss me off. And I'm gonna like rip off all my filters for this one. But the first fucking thing is AI. They're writing with AI. The reason I know they're writing with AI is because I've been up to my eyeballs in AI, and I know exactly how it phrases certain things, and you can spot it a mile away if you are there. I wrote a paper. I didn't publish it loudly, but I just put it out there, and I said, look, this is how you can tell whether an article is written by AI. That's the first thing. The second thing is the waves come in, and they make those of us that are trying to say something that's differentiated and important, or maybe not even, maybe we think it's important, but we want to inspire a discussion on it. I think you're doing that all over the place, Nick, and the other people that are coming in are just copycatting. It's that Peter Thiel thing of when we talked about Renee, the philosopher.
mimetic
Yeah,
desire.
mimetic. It's mimetic. It's miming other people, right? It's just like I see this, I mime it, and hopefully I'll gain 4 more. They don't understand. They're hurting the whole damn ecosystem, and that really fucking irritates me every day that I wake up and I am like, it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
You're polluting the water with more shit that just makes it cloudier rather than clearing it up. I'm sorry to rant, but that's my
I love it.
My Saturday,
and it's true.
I get wound up on it. I want your thoughts on it, though, Nick. What I mean, is it, and Lisa as well, of course, but that always goes without saying. But where are your thoughts on it?
Well, I learned a lesson early from my friend Ellie Leonard, who's in the chat, which is guard your DMs well.
Ellie.
Hi, Ellie.
And if you haven't subscribed to Ellie Leonard, please go do so. She's amazing.
Fantastic.
Incredible work.
I just turned my sister onto it because onto Ellie because of the Epstein situation. My sister has kind of that researcher mind as well, just privately. And this is her new obsession. And I was like, no, you have to start with Ellie. So now she's like digging into all of her stuff. So anyway, sorry.
No, and so someone put in the comments, Deborah, it's a great comment. The problem is that most of us can't discern when someone is using AI.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you have to trust and build trust with some of the creators that you are watching and seeing. Is if you trust when they say, this is pretty AI generated, look out for this sort of things. Like, I would encourage Rick, if he has a set of quick notes that he refers to on how to reference what might be, or like common phrases and how they're worded, put it out as a post.
And I'll tell you one, guys, right now for free. It always says a sentence. It's not this, it's this, and it says it.
Yes.
And you can read it.
Right.
That's one of the most trademark behaviors of AI, and it does it because it's deeply programmed.
It typically starts with, I am not this person, or I am this person.
Yes.
And I always feel this way when this happens.
Right.
The AI is very Sith-like. It is very into black and white, and yet right or wrong. There is no gray with AI because it can't think. It's 0 and 1.
Right.
That's literally all it is. Like, we're not at the point where AI can really think because it hasn't gone into the whatever the new computer technology that I forget the name off the top of my head. Quantum computing.
Oh, I was going to ask you quantum. Okay.
When they get into quantum computing and they put in AI systems where it has 0, 1, and 2, then things are going to get fucked up. Because there's gray in there, and that's where it can make probabilistic determinations on, like, is this yes or no? And that's going to mimic thinking in a lot of way, and how we envision thinking and how we subcategorize it. Yes, use AI. You can't really get around it. Like, there's not much you can do. I'm answering for a chat is for someone who's don't. Yeah,
I am banging it specifically as people are using it to fake that
absolutely.
they shit, and that lights me on fire because I can tell.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so anyway, but yeah, to research is a tool for that. Number one, yes, it's a great freaking tool. It does 1,000 things, and it's much better now than it was just 6 months ago, and 6 months before that, and 6 months before that, and so on. Back to the day it was released. But there was a guy back on when GPT 2 came out. He posted this long TikTok video, and he's like, "Do you remember when the Enola Gay took off and dropped a bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki?" And I'm like listening, going, "Yeah." And he said, "This is GPT 2." He says, "This is the day when everything changes for the entire world and all of humanity till the end of time, because this is," and he throws up GPT-2. And I got right on that thing, looked at it, went, no, this is not original. This is just really sophisticated sentence completion algorithms that it's doing. I don't mean to whine about AI too much, but I just, guys.
It's an important thing to talk about.
It is.
Though. Yeah, because it's taking over in a lot of places that it's not ready to take over in, and it's being pushed in a lot of ways that it's not ready to be pushed in, and there's no other side to all of this. Like there's supposed to be an other side when there's a technological revolution. Like,
Yeah.
what does the other side look like? Normally they tell you ahead of time, here's what you're going to get when we get there. They haven't told us any of it. They've just said it's temporary hardship. On the other side, you might get freedom cities, but what the fuck is a freedom city?
Yeah,
and why are you taking all our jobs?
Right.
And I'll tell you something, in business, the other thing, that anybody will tell you that's been in a corporate with it, that if Zuckerberg stands up for Meta and he says, you know what, I got this great llama model, and here, I want you to all try it, okay? And he says, and you sit there and you ask it 100 times, which doing it with some technical stuff is pretty easy. You can ask a question 100 times to the thing, and if you ask it, what is 2 plus 2? And 99 out of the 100 times it comes up with 4. But on that 100th time, it comes up with 63 or 42. That's too much of an error rate for a business to rely and bet itself on, especially banking and for financial services, especially mission critical things like medical stuff, So.
Yes.
AI makes too many mistakes.
It does.
AI makes a ton of mistakes. It also makes up responses too. It fakes articles. AI is hallucinating. Like, it creates fake articles and it creates fake news sources. You have to tell your AI system to self-check itself. You can tell AI, like ChatGPT, you can say to it in your messages or as just like a general underlying prompt service for yourself. Like you can update your profile in there and you can say, always double check and validate your logic and sources to ensure that they are real and accurate, especially if you're doing coding things. Like you have to be very specific to make sure that you say, validate your logic. And when I was in software engineering, I would use it a little bit here and there just to be like, hey, here's a base idea. I just need this general thing. And it would always have errors in it every single time. It would never work. It would never compile right. I would always have to spend almost as much time fixing it as I would have done just doing it myself. And so I stopped using it. Like,
we are brothers connected on that plane. I am so with that.
It's not ready yet, but they're going to push it, and there's nothing on the other side. I want to help create a system where we know what's on the other side and help formulate a plan that Stephanie Wilson helped coin, which is the Tricentennial Action Group, or TAG, You're It for Democracy. And I want to coin that and get that out there and start building. Like, I talked with Sherrod Sweeney and Centered America, and make sure to follow Centered America with Sherrod Sweeney and Gavin Faber. They're incredible.
Excellent content.
We need both a 20-month plan, like Shane talks about. Shane Yer talks a lot about is we need both a 20-month plan or shorter and a 20 to 50 year plan. So if we have a Tricentennial Action Group, 50 years from now is the US's 300th birthday and or tricentennial. So let's get to 300 and then 300 more. And we have to get there by creating a plan so that people can vote. Just like Project 2025. Yeah, it's kind of derivative in that nature, but they did it good. They had a great idea and they did it. They're doing it really well. You should all listen to them. They're further along than they want to tell us they are.
This actually goes back even further, 1971 Powell Memorandum, right? And then
they've been doing this for 40 years.
Yes.
Or longer. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia has been at war with the US trying to subvert it, and they used the easiest groups to do it, which were far-right Christian nationalists that could get supplanted by Russian mobsters who facade as Russian Orthodox Christians or Catholics. Like, the Russian Orthodox Church is a front for the KGB. And they integrated very deeply into right-wing Christian culture to promote this and build up people like Donald Trump and the Heritage Foundation and all sorts of these groups.
For sure.
And
Heritage Foundation came from the Powell Memorandum.
And they funneled money into groups like Revolutionary Communist Party and others. I have no confirmed information that the Revolutionary Communist Party has specifically received money from Vladimir Putin, so don't come after me or like anything like that. I am just saying organizations like them take just as much far right, anti-American content too, and display it as left-wing ideas. The furthest fringes of either party are not our friend. They're both funded by foreign actors, specifically Russia and the corrupted Russian mobsters that live in Israel and have turned it into a Russian mob state. That's what Israel has become, is a mob state.
I want to get an idea out there real quick.
Do all that.
To link to, because in your head, so we talked many moons back, and this may be mostly the same audience, maybe not, but we talked about this horseshoe when it came to these groypers and things like that. I will re-explain the horseshoe concept, but you on both ends you have these fringes that ultimately somewhat connect. They're not that far apart from each other ideologically, and in what they ask. It's more important, what do they twist the minds of their members and their adherents to, the people who believe in what the fuck they're saying? And that's the really twisted part of all of this, is it becomes, an Ouroboros where it's like the snake eating its own tail, and we could go down all kinds of philosophical rat holes with that, but I'm not going to. So my point, just in short, is yes, it's like, wow, you have to realize how kind of wacky it is of the world we're living in now. And it really isn't a two-party system we've got that is, under at the ideological level. I could argue different things about that, but what it is a two-party system from a legal process perspective. It is Democrat, it is Republican, and it is everybody else. And so we have to deal with it, right? And I love how Nick has taken this on. We're over, so I don't want to hold people.
Yeah, and I want to make sure I push, but I want to leave with that is we can do better than a two-party system. It does not have to be that way. In fact, our founding fathers specifically said, don't do a two-party system. It will destroy the democracy and the republic in doing it. Yeah, like it's very specific. We're not supposed to have a two-party system. We actually don't. To be totally honest, we have a three-party system. The Libertarian Party is a nationally recognized third party that chooses to caucus alongside the Republican Party.
That's
my goal in the next 20 months is to find as many disaffected Republicans as I can and encourage them to take over the Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
And have it caucus either independently or directly with the Democratic Party, because that would change the game drastically, because we're in political realignment right now in the US, and everyone needs to understand that. I'm not here to get Republicans to vote. They already vote. I'm here to get every single one of you that has previously acted uncivilly, technically, without civic knowledge, because you have been told that you don't want to vote and shouldn't vote. I want to use my platforms to encourage you as an independent, as a non-voter, as a Democrat or Republican, to vote. And I don't see it on the ideological spectrum of conservative and liberal. I see it on the ideological spectrum of regressive and progressive. You're a regressive.
You're looking back.
The Republican Party, and you're looking backwards because you're not conserving anything. Then maybe your generational wealth and white supremacy. That's not conservative, though. That's just regressive assholes who want to hold on to power. Progressive is the alternative end of that spectrum. Not conservative and liberal. Those are monikers of the past.
Different.
And are from a different generation. They're from the greatest generation. They're leftovers. They're holdovers. We've had party shifts. We've had party realignments. And we're going to work with people that we do not agree on things. However, there's going to be always a fundamental understanding that people and dignity matter. Like, I will not work with people that do not see people as people. From trans people to LGBTQ people to straight people. If you do not think that another person is a person, I don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
That is an idea. That is an ethical and moral choice, not a political one. That's a moral choice.
Yes.
Because I have moral values that I'm going to stick to and I'm going to like adhere to. And that's really what I want to leave you with is stick with your moral values, heighten them, strengthen them, and then use whatever position you have. If you are a disaffected voter or a Republican voter, is go take over the fucking Libertarian Party, because they, and I say this with all seriousness, because they are able to have a candidate run in every single state. They can run a presidential candidate. They can run representatives. They can run senators. They can run every single state. They are nationally recognized. They're also not the Green Party, which, you know, Jill Stein, if I never saw your face again, I would be better off, because you're a Putin puppet also. We have the evidence of that, Jill Stein. We all know. So stay away. But the Libertarian Party is, Jill Stein is the Green Party, Lynette. That's why I specifically am saying don't support them. But the Democratic Socialist Party is a party you could support. They're they caucus with the Democratic Party. They are not as nationally stable, which is why they're not a third party option specifically. But if we make the Libertarian Party a true non-caucusing party from the Republicans, whether they make it all the way to caucus under Democrats or not, they are no longer Republicans. Isn't that a huge win? Like that causes the Republican Party to then go the way of the Whigs. We've had other political parties in this country. We've had many. It's time we just kill these ones.
Nick, I totally agree. I've got a map I pulled it out of a book from 1903, and it showed from 1770 or 1780 through 1900 all of the arms. It was like spaghetti to read all these different, and it is true what you are saying. I'm just underscoring your point, is that there have been many divergence of variations and sub-branches of those sub-branches, all sorts of stuff. The other thing, Nick, for the next time, I'd like to ask you a question just on the face value, and then maybe sort of leave us in suspense to make you come back.
Sure.
Which is, I felt like the last election that we had a huge victory for the not Republican Party. And in that, by that I mean, it wasn't a victory for Democrats. It was not, because the policies, the ideas, the landing pad to put this all on, I think it still needs some work, and a lot of work. And I think between now and next November, we've got a lot to get done. And I think working together, we could probably do it. But let me just part with that thought. And if you want to push back on anything I just said, please go for it.
No, I think
and Rick, just to remind you, please capture the comments, please. Because I definitely want to, because there's so much great stuff in here, and we love to take a look at these after the show, and we'll send them to you, Nick, as well, if you don't have them, because sometimes we'd like to have it in a separate folder.
Yeah, but, that sounds great.
Yes, but this was amazing, and that was a great thing to leave us with, Rick, because that is something that I'm very curious to know what your input is on that, Nick, for our next broadcast. This is great.
And make sure to write it down, because I will forget the question.
Absolutely.
My mind.
You have so much going on.
My mind is a lot.
Dude, we're on the same wavelength. Yes, I'll write it down. Send it to you. All right, guys.
So I appreciate this. Thank you so much for letting me come on with you guys.
We love having you.
It's always
and if you haven't subscribed, there's 269 of you in the 270 now in the Substack Live. Hit the subscribe in the top left corner for Rick and Lisa and me, so that you can join these two. They're amazing.
Thank you.
I really appreciate coming on. The second time I've been able to talk with them in this show, and I've enjoyed both times a lot.
Yes, we got to do more.
Yeah, and I want to ensure that I'm uplifting other voices too. So maybe we'll talk more in the background about some stuff and see how we can help you guys out.
That's great.
Get you some more visibility around the clock. And because you're doing stuff all the time, I see you guys on your shows pretty much every day. So thank you for the work you're doing too.
Thank you. All right, guys. Hey, have a great afternoon and a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Yes, we'll see you guys soon. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.